Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated. I have a small bit of a sore throat today. I hope it doesn't come across too much in this episode or the previous one. And the reason that I have a sore throat is because I was up all night dancing and singing and partying for the pre-celebrations for Rúadacán's 69th birthday. Today is the 15th of July, 1025. He turns 69 years of age. And I just realised that because we went down I forget which one it is, the learning focus to the left of scholarship, we're going to get a pop-up 1 year in advance of his death from natural causes, which means that as long as he isn't assassinated, or as long as he doesn't die in battle, or as long as he doesn't die in the hunt that we're about to send him on, he will survive to be 70 years of age. And that notification will be handy to us for a number of different reasons, because when we know that he has a year left, we could potentially start an epic battle and drag all his allies into it, and then have him die, have him replaced, and have new allies dragged in. So with bleary heads and sore throats, we're going to get this hunt underway to celebrate the High King's 69th birthday. We're going to call a hunt. He's going to lose some stress that he gained, of course, in recent years from the death of his wife and two of his sons in the siege of Dublin, which was carried out by what were they? A peasant revolt. We're going to sound the horn. We were discussing in the last episode that maybe the High King has grown depressed because of his great age. Here's somebody else who's depressed. They're actually depressed. They're melancholic, and they have good reasons. His traits are not great. But it's our grandson. A grandson of ours has come of age. And we're going to marry him off to this random courtier somewhere. She has the intelligent trait. So hopefully that'll mitigate against some of this. We undertook this hunt to increase our prestige and to drop our stress. And instead, one of our shifty-eyed courtiers is trying to tell us a secret. The space gets away if we listen to him. If we don't listen to him, instead we're going to gain stress because we're paranoid. Well, if he's paranoid, I think he'd want to know what the secret is. So we're going to end up losing some prestige, but it'll keep us from breaking into the first level of stress. And there you go. It comes to an end. Nothing much happened, probably. Probably going to be the last hunt of the High King's life. We gain 150 prestige, at least. So, basically we just gained 75 prestige. So this is interesting. We've been caught into a war by Huntingdonshire, who are refusing our calls for vassalization, and they're attacking Buckinghamshire, which is also ruled by an Irish Earl, or whatever he is. Earl Don, if I'm right, we were actually thinking about him. He was in line for the High Kingship at one stage. He was actually being pushed by us until he inherited Buckinghamshire. So I've tried to give him, or demand vassalization from him, and from him they've both refused. We will accept. We'll accept. So our spy master has found one of the people scheming against her. An unmarried courtier. I was actually looking for someone to marry her off to for a while. She was married to, I'd say he was a former knight of ours, especially as he was slain in battle. Rúadacán is paranoid, and of course he's absolutely devastated following the death of one of his wives and two of his children. So we're going to throw her in jail. And And I'd say pretty instantaneously. Execute her. We did have a bit of a penalty there, that our army was not going to raise for 4 months. We're almost at full capacity, and we have gotten a pop-up that one of our councillors, Ernach, who had been considered for the high kingship, we were supporting him as well for a period of time, and he has died under mysterious circumstances. He was the chieftain of Athlone, and now the title has passed to his son. Ernach, if I'm correct, had been a vassal of ours for decades, or not a vassal, but he'd been our chancellor for decades. We've no strong vassals that are kind of high up the list who want a position on the council, so we're going to give it to Quillan Mac Moltoli. He has a 23, which is very high. I'd be very surprised at this point in time if the High King was going to have any more children, but we are suffering some penalties because we are down 2 wives. Who was this woman previously married to? She was actually married to our grandson, and he... oh lord, was he also killed in that siege? So 5 people were killed in that siege. I know 2 of my sons were killed. 1 of my wives were killed. Oh lord. Send the proposal. We've raised the armies, split them in half. One of them is going to raid down Buckinghamshire itself. The other is going for Bedford, and that army is commanded by Giles, who we recruited in the last campaign against England. So he's actually going to command one of the armies. He has no skills that are going to be of use in sieging down that territory. But you know what? We'll send him in anyway. And I've just realised that we won't. Well, we will. But Bedford's capital, that's not it. This is it up here. So Giles is just going to show up and do nothing. Or maybe he will. Because they lifted that siege. So they're trying to make a run for it, get out into the sea. We've sent Giles up after them. And he's hit them. Just as we get ourselves a lifestyle perk. The insane thing is, if we actually stayed with the learning lifestyle, and if we'd gone down theologian, it's entirely possible that we'd be in a position to get the achievement for completing an entire lifestyle. But I thought the High King would be long dead by now, so we've switched in a different direction. Again, decrease mercenary cost, control territory defender. I think we will go for knight effectiveness, increases 75%. And we're called into another war, so maybe people are trying to drag the High King into wars. I said at the start of this episode we'd try and drag some of our allies into wars. Maybe they're trying to drag us into wars before he dies. So this is for Burgundy, I think, is basically trying to... It's not an independence war. What is it? They're trying to end the tyranny of the King of West Francia. We will accept, and we might teleport some troops across there in a few minutes. If we can bring this battle to an end. We've actually managed to do a tremendous amount of damage there. We've actually won the war. We've in a single battle, we've won the war. Giles, fair play to you. 100% war score. And there you go. The Duke of Holland, bless him, he's been here for... How long has he been here now? He's been here 3 years. He's making 0.8 per month, but you know what? We'll ransom him back because Lothringia has just entered the war, so there's a good chance that we might be able to catch him again. We're probably going to have to send the troops across. I'd say if we stand them down, they'll probably make us wait for a couple of months. This gentleman has come to us looking to join our kingdom. We could have him join. We would gain some stress by asking him to convert, and that would drive us over the edge. He's not the best knight. He is better than most of the knights that we have, though. But we're going to say that we have no room for the likes of you. So he will go off somewhere else. I will pause quickly. Brabant. I have no idea what they're doing, but they've brought an army across. I wonder, are they doing what I think they're doing? Essex is trying to conquer some places, so they're probably fighting with them, are they? Yeah, they are. So we're going to send our army down to actually attack them, because we're not in a position to stand down our army yet. No, we won't. That's, we'll see if we can move this army up further. I thought maybe by hitting them it might be impacting on our other war. It might actually be detrimental, because maybe we want Essex to conquer parts of this region. I don't know. The affairs, the smaller the region gets, the more complicated the politics becomes. What we are going to do, however, is we are going to invite some champions. So we spend some of our hard-earned prestige to invite new champions. And that's going to give us stress when we go and try and hire them. So we're going to... Can we write down our thoughts? Occupied writing for a year gives us -2 diplomacy. We'll lose some stress. Or we can work off the stress. General opinion drops by 5. Do you know what? I think people are so afraid of us with our dread that won't matter too much. As I finish another lap around my castle, I can already feel my worries dripping off me together with the sweat. Some people say I run from my problems, but I say I run towards solutions. Another lap, and we lose 33 stress. We might even go for write down thoughts as well in a few minutes. I think we're going to have a lot to write down. Another of our sons has died, our namesake, Rúadacán mac Rúadacán. And he's died as a result of his poor physique. At just, well, I won't say just 45 years of age. He did not deserve this. So 56 stress. What I actually decided to do was march our army down to attack the one belonging to Brabant, and to spend all the money that we got from the Duke of Holland in getting out into the sea. That contributed nothing to the war score. I have no idea where these guys are going, and we will bring them across to here, and whether we march them down and attack or whether we siege down some areas up here, I'm not so sure. Currently commanded by Giels, we'll send them to Antwerp. And we'll siege down some areas up here for now and see what it does. What I'll probably actually do is change. I will change the commander of this army to somebody. Here's our brother, who we recently made a Duke of York. So we will appoint the Grand Old Duke of York, and he can help in sieging down that place. Another year passes by, and the High King turns 70 years of age. The first Irish High King to enter his 70s. No time to rest. We're still awaiting that pop-up that'll tell us that he has just 1 year left to live. Hopefully we can contribute to this war, get some prestige, and then think about what we're going to do. We're getting some pop-ups here. The king of Sweden lost one war. Somehow, I don't know how they managed it, but Ulster lost the war for Wales. I don't know how they managed to do it. They allowed the Swedish to siege one territory, and that gave a -60 war score. And no matter what the Ulster forces did then, they could not overcome that. I'd say it was a white peace. So that was a bit of a disaster. there at the bottom of the screen, we can see that I think 7,000 French forces have moved against Lothringia. They're sending in 2 men. And they're probably going to push up. The king of Lothringia was taken prisoner. I thought that would bring the war to an end, but technically, of course, we're not fighting Lothringia, they're just allied. So we might actually need to send our forces down in a few minutes and contribute to the actual battle that's going on in Burgundy itself, or in the region. I think we have an alliance with Lothringia. Crundmole, who I was planning to install as the puppet king of England, his daughter, if I am correct, we should be able to check right here. Here she is. The Queen of Lothringia. So that's why he was coming up as an acquaintance. Bad timing for them to send in an army. But I said we were going to go down and hit Burgundy, but we can't pass this area by. I can't pronounce it. But I think... Oh, I can't remember who built a monastery here. I've mentioned before that we were down into regions... Oh, was that back under Flann Sinna Uí Néill or Green Graffador? We were down into regions where the Irish had built substantial monasteries and kind of religious houses throughout Europe. Here is where they had an important one. And actually it was this region more so than any. If you look at a map, it's absolutely crazy. If you look at a map of all the places the Irish built monasteries, a few in Ireland. Can I draw a square? Here, basically. Just full of monasteries. 1 or 2 here. And in the 1000s, they somehow made it as far as Kiev. I've no idea where that would be now. But they built a monastery in Kiev in the 1000s. So it's just this general area and then Kiev. So we're sieging down one here, losing some troops. We're just paying a visit, basically. We've hired 3 knights, and it's caused a good chunk of stress. Look at that, it's piling back up, if you see down there in the bottom left-hand corner. So we're going to write down our thoughts just a couple of months out from our 71st birthday. Bring my journal. I grab a pen and open my journal. With each sentence that graces the paper, I feel my shoulders relaxing. The clarity this process brings is unrivaled. Flann Sinna had other processes. I dipped my pen once more. He dipped pen. So we're occupied with writing for a year. Loses 33 stress. He's going to lose 2 diplomacy, which isn't too bad, and that knocks a good chunk of stress off. Burgundy has technically gotten its wish. It has managed to get rid of the tyranny of the king of West Francia because he's dead. Died from smallpox at 18 years of age. How long was he actually ruling for? And I thought I recognized this name. So the previous king abdicated in 1015 in favor of this guy, who's ruled for what, 12 years? So, oh yeah, he was quite young when we married a member of our family off to him. And yeah, I thought we were doing a great job. We'd married our daughter off to him. I thought that alliance is going to last a long time. Nope. Another few pop-ups. We've managed to take a baby duke hostage. We've won the siege, got some money, and an ally has joined. Oh my god. That's 3 kings of France in how long? So in the 1 year, we've had, in the space of a month, I think we've had 3 kings of France. What did you actually die from? Also, great pox. So smallpox, great pox, you're going to die from the greatest pox. Pox Maximus. And look at this, for an absolutely fantastic situation. We managed to invite our daughter back to court. So she was married to this guy. He died. We invited her back to court. She returned. And now we're going to marry her off to King Herbert, the new king of West Francia. And it looks like he will accept. So just like our wife, she's turning into a kind of a sovereignty figure in France. Now, they do have a fancy building here. I don't think it's an important building of any make, shape, or form. It's nothing... What's the Palace of Aachen? Should we go and visit the Palace of Aachen? We'll give it a miss for now, and we'll just see what they say about it in the brochures. We'll attack this army, because the problem is, and I don't know where West Francia's army has gone to, but the guys they're fighting against have now put together 6,000 troops. We have the ability to resist that, I was going to say in Ireland, but this is Ireland. Well, look at this. We will recruit as many forces as we need here, and I'd say we will march to the far south and see if we can hit that army. These guys are trying to run before we get to them. Are we going to get there first? Just barely. So we managed to wound a knight who is a member of the Acre family. We're now the target of a war for Shropshire, which obviously means that it has somehow become part of our holdings. Good Bard is in control. Best Bard, I think it's fair to say, is in control. Do we want to march the army all the ways down there to deal with them? Unfortunately, I'd say we do. It's going to take a substantial amount of time to get them all the ways down to this region. They'll definitely have that siege down, so hopefully they'll move north. And yeah, we can see what we're going to do. I've ransomed off somebody for 25 quid to the baby that we have in our jail, so that's handy. So what's going on up here? Indeed, Shropshire somehow has become part of our territory. It's because the guy in Cheshire has conquered it. That guy should have accepted vassalization when I offered it to him. We can see that England has taken a chunk out of Mercia. Somebody else has taken a chunk out of them. Again, they should have accepted vassalization when I offered it to them. But this section of Welsh Sweden is declaring war, or has declared war already, for Shropshire, and now we've become the war leader. They're not doing great. They're at 1,324 troops. You will recognise that this is the family that has claims on Iceland. I don't see any claims here to Iceland. But I have been looking around for other members of the family who do. Because, of course, we had a bizarre and awkward scenario a couple of episodes back where we recruited somebody to court, married them to a member of the Uí Néill family. They're now in Middlesex, and they are refusing to talk to me. God damn them. I was hoping to use them as a justification to invade Iceland. I don't think we need to worry about these guys too much for now. Of course, if they do conquer the region, they're going to have to do a ton more work to actually do anything. We could very well just hire mercenaries and send them across. I'm not going to worry too much for now. So I got a pop-up that my daughter, Moraid, could marry, but that's not right, because she's being married to the King of West Francia. Well, no. The King of West Francia has already married somebody. Queen O Fortuna. And if you remember that joke from an earlier episode, it's because she was married to our son, Neachthon, who of course was killed in the siege of Dublin. And she's now married to Herbert, the king of West Francia, so we didn't manage to get that marriage that I was maybe a tad bit too overconfident of. You know what they say, Fortuna favours the brave. So the High King is 71 years of age. The great thing is we still haven't gotten that pop-up alerting us to the fact that he could die at any moment. Well, it won't be any moment, it'll be a year. So we're not going to be surprised by his death, hopefully. I found the overwhelming French forces. They're doing nothing as we continue to march down. I think if we can hit these armies and deal them a substantial blow, we'll have done enough. We'll have done enough. Now, we can keep those guys there. We're actually kind of half sieging something down, almost. There was 3,900 troops coming north, but they've now been caught by something. We're going to bring our forces down to the general vicinity, maybe group them together and have them go in together. That is fantastic. They're actually splitting their armies. One is traveling south, one is traveling north. I thought he was a bit too old for this, to be growing paranoid, but his wife is absent from his chambers. I think he's going to watch her every move. Bless him. That army arrived and realized it had made a terrible mistake and has attempted to turn around and run straight back out. Hopefully we're going to be able to hit them before they do so. We're sending in both of our armies. Might as well. There we go. Group them together. I thought, no, that's Duchess Sibylle. I thought that might actually be a member of our family. One of the largest purely Irish armies that we've ever been able to assemble. 7,000, probably 8,000 or 9,000 in this battle at one stage. Fighting in the middle of Europe. Good Bard has ripped somebody's head off. And that gave us 9% war score. Shropshire is under siege. I'm not entirely too sure what we're going to do. I'm moving the larger of the two armies south to attack these guys. The smaller army, I'll put it sieging here. I am thinking, however, that we've done enough. If we can hit this army, I might consider withdrawing. I'm finding it difficult to figure out where we are and aren't at war with. Apparently we're not at war with this place. So I'm sending our smaller siege army in here to siege down Lyon. Sending the larger army, like I said, down to attack these guys. But then these guys won't be too far away from them. I think they're going to continue falling back. Will it tell me where they're going to fall back to? No, these guys are making a run for it. The Burgundian forces moved south, then they moved north, and when they were locked into that movement, we decided to come in. We have caught them. We have a good chunk of advantage, and vastly superior numbers. Finn Schnachta wounded Prospero, I think. Sneachta is snow, or snow. You're hearing the West Kerry accent, or the West of Ireland accent come out a bit. With snow and stop. So Sneachta is snow. And Finn in this context, I think, is clear. Or kind of white. I don't know what way you'd really put it. If we look at those last two battles, Cahmal is heading up the kill list. Some of our newer knights are coming in as well. Phalamede has been driven way down. Here's another one of our new knights. Giles or Giles, he's not exactly the best. But fair play to me, he's a good commander, not the best for fighting. And there is Finn Sneachta, way down at the bottom. And pretty much almost an identical list from the... I think it's pretty much identical in terms of the order from our second battle. So we need to kind of figure out what we want to do now, because Shropshire is on the verge. Or I should say, well, Shropshire is on the verge of being sieged down. Do we want to just hire mercenaries and send them across, or do we want to stand down our troops and bring them up? I think we've done plenty with this battle that we're in at the moment. I might stand down one of the two armies and have the other one undergo a couple of months of hibernation before we can stand them back up, siege this area, and then maybe even hit some of the places here, which might be handy. I'm actually getting very confused trying to figure out what we can and can't attack. Lotharingia has seen a change in war leader. Their king has died and been replaced by a distant cousin of ours. Crundmol's grandson, Dogfall, or Dogfail, would be how you'd pronounce it from an Irish point of view. We've stood down one of the two armies, 4,000 troops. They're going to be back up and running in 6 months, around the High King's birthday. And we leave these guys here to just... I don't know what they're going to do, really. Traipse around the place and try and hit the Burgundian army and try and find some place. Surely we can siege this place down. This place that's on fire. If we can catch these guys, first of all. Oh, the tension. Who's going to get in there first? I think we will. Just about. It wouldn't be a battle without Goodbard ripping somebody's head off. And look at this! Well, that says something about our wife anyway. She's an interest in the older men. I thought, you know, you can hardly blame her. Her husband is 71, going on 72 years of age. She's probably gone for a younger man. She's gone for Carnoch, the 62-year-old, I was going to call him, the 62-year-old King of Ireland, the Archbishop of Ireland. And we married him off to a member of the family, to a courtier, but he's taken our wife as a lover. This is useful to know. That's the reaction of a man who's very calm about everything. Oh wait, no, he's not. We could potentially threaten her to break it off, or there will be consequences. We'll gain some stress. It doesn't matter too much. My love, I beg of you, let this folly end. We married her only recently, pretty much to knock out the penalty that we have for too few spouses. I didn't realize that we should have gotten her conversion. You should have gotten her conversion. I need time to think. At least we will grow closer to forming a rivalry with Carnoch. Okay. No other victory in that region. We took a captain of the condottieri hostage. Where do I want to go? I want to actually go to here to siege this place down and attack that army if possible. It was a damn good thing that we stood down those armies, because look what's happening over here. They've actually managed to land substantially more forces than I thought they had. I don't quite understand how or why they've lost the siege up here. But we're standing our army back up. It's going to take a while. I don't think anybody will come in against us before we get it. We won't be able to move for a while, but they're in fairly good capacity. 2,900. We should have 3,500 within a short enough space of time. And then send it up against that army that's now they're coming back for Shropshire. You had that. You had that a couple of minutes ago. I don't know what you lads are at. And again, happy birthday to the High King. What's he after turning now? He's 72. 72. And shown no signs of slowing down. We have our main army sieging Dijon, if I'm correct. It's not going great. It is not going great because the fort level is too damn high, even with onagers, and I assigned a commander. I actually assigned my brother back there with his military engineer expertise. It's still not going very well. I'm not too sure what we'll do about that. We'll handle this scenario over here first of all. That's what we'll do about it. We just got a pop-up in red that a neighbour of ours had lost a battle. That's terrible. And then I looked at the result of that loss, and yeah, we've now created a contiguous kingdom somehow by accident. I have no idea what's going on up here. I don't even want to ask. So yeah, we've taken Herefordshire. I'm not entirely too sure how. So we would have taken it off of Mercia, I think. Yeah, Dunloduk II. So of course, when their father died, Mercia and this area, de Hybert split off, and now de Hybert is basically conquering Mercia, which was rather foolish. It didn't accept vassalization, so it's been caught between England, and it's now being caught between Ireland. So this bodes well for us. We're not going to complain. I was sending my army north. They've stopped again while they antagonize people by pointing at them and screaming at them to come on and fight me. There we go. Up to 4,100, and they're going to move north and hit this army in Shropshire. I have no idea what is going on here. This child has manifested out of nowhere. I think I went randomly marrying knights to people. We married Giles, let's call him Giles, to this woman. It looks like she already had a 3-year-old son. And apparently that son is the child of... I thought this was somebody with a name like Farchelach. I thought they were in our kingdom. They're not. They're just an insular Irish who's wandered off somewhere in the world. So yeah, it looks like we figured out who the father of her child is. That's oh man, literally unbelievable. I refuse to believe it. In the middle of France, this battle or this siege is doing absolutely no good for us. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our army and we're going to bring it into this battle here that the French have somehow gotten themselves into rather unwisely. They are bringing around some reinforcements, and there's even more troops coming up. You lads should be glad that we have a few thousand troops just wandering around here. And we've gotten another martial lifestyle perk. Let's deal with this battle. Phalamede has wounded somebody. Olphus has wounded somebody. a member of the House of Bavinger. They're actually distant relatives of ours. Again, I think we made a bad choice here. I think we should have stuck with learning and gotten ourselves an achievement. We're going to never back down. Friendly fatal casualties -20, advantage +5. That opens up Kingsguard, which gives us even more knights, which would be not great at the moment. The romance scheme, nothing stopping a 72-year-old from romancing, but I don't think much of these are going to be of use to us. We could, of course, come in this direction for a while. Siege weapon effectiveness would be handy at the moment. A substantial battle there in France in that war. We're now up to 78% war score. And Kochmol was the leading knight. We should see that there were not very many knights from the Frankish forces. So we'll dismiss that, and we're already moving the army in to attack these guys. We were slightly distracted by events on the continent, so we've at least defended against the siege in Shropshire. They've withdrawn. We're now going to try and bring the army across, hopefully to hit them, whatever direction they're going in. And of course, in the midst of it all, because everyone could be his last one, we're going to send out the invitations for a feast. We have a lot to keep an eye on at the moment. I have to make sure that these guys actually get hit. The mood is bright, the spirits are high as the feast begins, a lot better than the last one, which was held in the aftermath of course, the death of his wife, 2 of his children, and a grandchild, it now looks like. Welcome, friends. So we'll make sure that we hit this army first of all before switching back to look at the scenario in Wales. Here is our High Queen, our Spy Master. And she has accidentally revealed to us she's had too much to drink and she reveals a bit too much. Very interesting rambles. We learn of her murder secret. So let's see, does it tell us who she murdered? That character is a murderer, that's great. But who was the actual... Who did she murder? That's what I want to know. Does it tell us? I don't think so, so it's a secret. It's a secret who she murdered. We might be able to ransom her or something like that. I'm not too sure. Or not ransom her, but blackmail her, and maybe that will reveal it. We'll check later on. What I'm hoping is that these guys are going to come in and hit that army before it moves out. It's looking... not looking good. And we've gone in. We've been caught by 4 troops, which may have given them time to withdraw. Mayor Thaig comes to us to discuss ancient military campaigns. The battles in Europe of the first Flann Sinna, no doubt. It's a subject that fascinates me as well. We gain 20 opinion with him. And finally, we've caught them running around the place. They're actually putting up a solid battle. Somebody is planning to kill my prisoner, poor old Baba, that we will ransom out once this war ends. We must stop the villain, etc., etc. Our guests are departing. Nothing but gratitude for our wife. Until next time. I think it's 5 years, 4 or 5 years in between feasts, so I don't know, will there be a next time? How many times have I said that so far? And he's now a famous reveler, so he's a reveler of a level unseen by any of his predecessors. I don't think we're going to win this battle. We're losing... yeah, it's now turned negative for us. Isn't it fine for some? We've discovered that our Duke, Kochmol, mock Flann Sinna, a great-grandson of the other Flann Sinna, who took a number of lovers. I suppose it's to be expected. I suppose it's to be expected. It's useful to know. Our High Queen has finished her task. We're now losing substantially. I don't know who these guys are, unless they will come down, and doesn't look like they're on our side, so it looks like we're going to lose this battle. Shropshire also seems to have actually made substantial losses. Oh no, they're coming after us. They have 2,500. Never mind. Let's go to a part of the world where things are a little bit better. We've had a second victory down here, and we're going to march. I'd say we'll try and march them straight across in this direction and catch this army. We will change our commander back to Goodbard. So here I think is the battle that we missed while we were focusing in Europe. And as you can see, we've a lot of our top knights. I think all of our knights are actually with this one. If we look at that defeat that we suffered, yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know how it divides knights. I don't know how it divides knights between armies that split up. Yeah. Now, I don't know if they know that we're coming for them or not, but they've made a bad mistake. They're about to move into the exact same spot that we're heading for. And while that battle starts, let's pause very quickly and head across. Well, no, it doesn't make a difference. Shropshire is under siege, so at least that means that those guys are staying there. Goodbrand has been wounded. That's surprising. Okay, more prisoners. Do you know what? If somebody's trying to murder this baby, let's get some money, first of all. That's the first thing. The prison is full. Look at all of these people. Here's an interesting looking character. There were, I think, 4 soldiers blocked us in Wales for all of 5 seconds. Let's negotiate his release and recruit him. He's a misguided warrior. That's obviously because he's following the wrong religion. But he's a 14 prowess. So let's recruit him. We're going to demand his conversion, which will knock him down by 1. But how bad? We just captured this guy, I think in our battle here. I'm not entirely too sure actually where. Absolutely terrible prowess. So it's to the stake with you. This is fairly chaotic down here. I can't find a single place to siege, bar Dijon, which is just going to take too long. I'm going to see if we can bring the army up and hit the this larger one up here. And I do know I can siege these places down, so maybe that's what we'll get back to, as we try and get the last 11%. That will allow us to bring this war to an end and concentrate on affairs in Britain and Ireland. We've hit this smaller army first. And pretty quickly. With any luck, we might actually manage to hit these guys as well, even though I think they were fighting against the army we're going after, so I don't think they're actually connected in any way, make, shape, or form. "49 troops in the forest." Now, where are they going? Or where have they gone? They vanished. As we're nice and close, we'll just come in here, siege this area down. We're up to 92% war score, so possibly this isn't even going to be needed. We will put our brother back in charge and have him siege that down. And using the power of teleportation, we have assigned Goodbard to command our army here in England. And we're going to march them down. We have 1,200 troops more than the remnant. Well, I won't say the remnants of the Swedish. How have the wars gone over here? He's still in control of Sweden, and that war against that war against Sami has ended. We've been overwhelmed by stress because our sister has died. We hit another army first of all. We at least lifted the siege of Shropshire. And when did our councillor Carnock die? There's a lot of pop-ups. I was trying to figure out who the hell is Carnock, and if a councillor is dead, then why aren't we getting a pop-up? Of course, he was our archbishop who was cheating on... well, he was sleeping with our wife. And, so yeah, he's passed away. At the same time, our sister passed away. How are things going here? Do you know what? If it wasn't for the fact that we still mightn't do great here. They are catching us. We've killed a couple of their knights, which is handy, especially as we have no knights linked to this army apparently. They're all out in the middle of Europe, sieging down a castle. Substantial losses on our behalf. And there you go, we managed eventually to push them back. I think we might, will we move quickly, get somebody in, try and start sieging the place down. Look who our top sieger is. And we've actually finally managed to get the war score up to 100. Hopefully what we're going to see over here with our siege of this area is that this war will come to an end. We'll bring our forces back. I know we can just stand them down, but hopefully it won't take them months and months and months and months and months to stand back up. That war has come to an end. Whoa. Our war score was 0. Our contribution 0. Here are our prisoners that we took from that war that we contributed nothing to. We've just ransomed this guy. Giorgio is no good. And Captain Cosma won't join us. And finally, after a few months, we are going to have the troops returned from France. They have joined up to capacity. Goodbrand is in charge, and we will march them up to attack these guys in Shropshire, who've already come under attack from somebody else, which is quite handy. And they're... I don't know what direction they're going in. No, we're a county short, or a barony short. We're gonna manage to siege down one of their territories in a second. Send the army in. Let's see how our advantage is this time. We're doing a lot better, with an army that actually has knights in it. Let's put us on what now? 79. Our son-in-law was taken prisoner. That's the brother, I think, am I right, of... No, I thought this was the brother of the guy who's married to Martha, with claims to Iceland. It's not. I have no idea who this is. And he was captured by England. Ah, yes, now I know who this guy is. This is the guy who was in Huntingdonshire and who refused to accept calls for vassalization. Well, weren't you foolish? We've completed our siege. I thought we'd have something better to report, but we're at 80% war score. So we're starting 2 more sieges. the High King's birthday passed recently. And what does he get for his birthday? He gets a report that somebody is plotting to kill one of his few remaining wives, his trusted wife. We must stop the villain behind this. And we have a council position vacant. We have a council position vacant. Why? I don't know. I think at this point in time, so many people have come and gone in Rúadacán's life that he can't be expected to remember all of them. Neither can I. The guy who's just after dragging us into this war in Shropshire, by conquering it, we will assign him as our new Chancellor. Not entirely too sure how or why the position became vacant. We've also discovered that somebody is trying to kill Werenbert. He's a member of House Hunfridding. You see them around the place from time to time. He's a grandson of Flann Sinna, and his wife she was the first wife, I think, that we were suspicious of being involved in the plot to assassinate him. Anyway, what I was going to mention was that he's not had great luck with women. His first wife died under suspicious circumstances. That's Orla Nick Flann Sinna, who of course had a son with her brother. The next wife died of pneumonia. And his most recent wife, if I'm correct, his most recent wife was killed in that siege in 1025 in Dublin. Now somebody's plotting to kill him. We must stop the... I was going to say we must stop the villain. I think at this point in time it would be just peace for the poor man. There's a dispute in the camp between two of our knights. Homon, who I'd say we hired recently. I'd say we hired both of these guys recently. I was fighting for the Kingdom of Ireland before your parents were born. And this is the carry-on. I don't need to remember who you people are. Sod this, I'm going to the tent to stuff my ears. We lose 35. We gain dread, martial lifestyle, and stress by whipping them, which has led to deaths in the past. We're going to deliver a speech. If it goes well, we will get 150 prestige and 100 martial lifestyle experience. That's the first time that's gone well. Usually it turns into a fight and we join in. I wouldn't have been joining in this time round, but usually it turns into a fight. I get up to deliver a speech about how we are all fighting for the Kingdom of Ireland and how we must stand united against our foes, for if we don't, there are many outsiders who would take advantage. The Swedes. He's talking about the Swedes. Gain 150 prestige and 100 lifestyle experience. We've lifted one of our sieges in Wales and we're trying to come in against the forces again. Good man, good brand. Ripped off somebody's head. That's what we like to see. We're up to 93%. War score. I think we're going to have to wait for this place to be sieged down, and that should bring this whole thing to an end. I think this was our vassal. Or not our vassal, but definitely this was our Chancellor, and he has just been released from a prison, so that's probably what was going on there. I've put him back as our Chancellor, as our diplomat. Who have we discovered is plotting against him? One of the Babingers. And who's she married to? She's married to our grandson. What do we do in this scenario? Let the traitor be known. And she's taken off the curtain that she was wearing. Question of loyalty. My wife, High Queen Rictrude, is with child, and I should be overjoyed. However, I'm 74 years of age, and she has been acting strange. So I think he was suspicious of her already, and I think she was having... Was she not having an affair with our Archbishop? Or was that somebody else? She must tell me. We will look into this discreetly. Right. That only took all day. We've managed to bring this war to an end. We will enforce our demands. It will give us 150 prestige. Enforce our demands. So that has brought that war to an end. So be it. As quickly as we can, we will get the armies back onto Irish soil. Our suspicions are laid to rest indeed. The child that our wife is pregnant with is ours. As always, she's discovered. We should have trusted her all along. We find our two armies, set them to raiding, split them in half, catch the other guy, raiding and split. What? Is this guy... Is that the nuclear danger sign? Who are you people? Recently, quite randomly, I started marrying my grandchildren. I think Rúadacán is the first Irish High King to actually have grandchildren of marriageable age. I married one of them off to somebody very far distant, way out in the farthest reaches of the Byzantine Empire. We'll accept, but we're not going to be coming to help you. There's no way that we're going to be able to teleport troops over there. So an absolute disaster, and it shows how, after all the time that I've been playing this game, I still don't know how this game works. Now that we've involved ourselves in a war, we can't raid anymore. So our raiders are coming back because they can't do anything. It does give us an opportunity, however, to go on a hunt. I think it's fair to say that this will be the greatest hunt ever. Sound the horn. I think I was quite right in calling this the greatest hunt of all time. We've caught something. You would think it a creature from myth, perhaps a god disguised in animal form. It was the largest boar I have ever seen, even after the beast was wounded. The chase lasted half a day. So we have two options. We can either sell it for a grand total of 65 quid, or we can give it to this dude who will sell it. Gain some money. The hunt is drawing to an end. We mount our horses to leave the plains behind as the servants prepare the boar and other game for the journey back. In spite of our difficulties along the way, the hunt went very well. We return home, reinvigorated. We gain 150 prestige. And we have reached an achievement for the highest level of fame. Rúadacán, after capturing a boar and getting himself a lifestyle perk, is now a celebrity. This is absolutely cruel. We're about to open up our 7th perk in the military tree. We could have been looking at another achievement if we had stayed in learning, if we'd gone down theology. I think we might as well go for Kingsguard, number of knights plus 4, and then from there on in, I'm not too sure what we're going to do. This section isn't hugely useful. Maybe Soldiers of Fortune, maybe the Casus Belli reduction cost, I'm not too sure. Thank God we were in a position to call that hunt, because if I had scuppered the chance to get an achievement and to get Rúadacán up to the highest level of prestige by randomly entering a war that I wasn't going to be able to take part in, I would not have been happy. it's staggering that he's reached celebrity status because, of course, we had massive penalties to his prestige when the game started. And even a session or two ago, I wasn't able to declare war for the entire Kingdom of England because we didn't have the prestige. I didn't expect him to live out the last episode. And I'm just as surprised that he is continuing on today. He just turned 69 in the last episode, and he's, or at the start of today's episode, he had just turned 69. We could play out another month or two and let him get up to his 75th birthday to call the game there, but I'm going to bring this episode to an end. It's been a bit of a lengthy one. We had extensive travails throughout West Francia and Lothringia, and of course we now have an ability to actually begin sieging down some of those areas. It will knock us out of, I think it will knock us out of Living Legend, maybe it won't, but we are now in a position to declare war for the Kingdom of England. And if we can pacify this entire region, barring Sweden and the areas held by West Francia, so that includes taking Brittany, but if we can take England and the various bits and pieces that are down here, it will leave us a couple of counties short of the requirements to form an empire. So it looks like we'll have to go back to war with Sweden at some stage. Probably try to take Orkney, if not even all of Iceland. It's taking a substantial amount of time. I thought at the start of this episode that we would have to accept the fact that Rúadacán would not live to become emperor. It's entirely possible that he will, or that he will die at the final hurdle. I don't know how many episodes away we are. I think it'll take more than one episode, but hopefully in the next 2 episodes at most, we'll definitely have the territory. Whether we'll have the money is the next question, and we might actually even begin the next episode. We can't go raiding, so we'll have to go attacking, but we do have access to Lothringia to raid that area down for some money to go and build an empire of Ireland. And look at this, the font keeps drifting further and further away from Ireland because now soon we're going to encompass this entire region. Thank you for joining me on this episode. I'm hoarse. My voice is completely gone. Hopefully, like I said, in the next one, we can start the final process of creating an empire. I know a lot of people are enjoying this series, and I'm tremendously enjoying it, but I do want to bring it to an end before any substantial changes are made. Before the Pope is patched in as the head of insular Christianity or anything like that. I'll be looking at starting a series, take a break for a while, and then start a series in 1066 later on. But yeah, we're going to continue on for another couple of episodes anyway. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this one. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like, and I will talk to you on the next one.